what's going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here. 16.3 update is out. We've got a few things going on in here. Let's get started. So they now have, let me go back to that screen right there. They now got the Soma Prime set, or I shouldn't say Soma Prime, I'm sorry, the Soma set, the Supreme Soma set, which you can buy if you want to for 530 platinum. You've got the AK Soma TI, okay, which you can buy for 225 if you wanted. You got the Dual Reza, which you can buy for 175. Now, let's take a look inside of here. Secondary weapons. In here, you can pick up the AK Soma TI blueprint, and this is going to cost you 20,000 credits, and or can sell 1 AK Stiletto and 200 Cryotic to purchase this and build it. So it's going to be 40,000 credits total. Okay, now here's the thing. It requires, as I just said, an AK Stiletto. Yes. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And in terms of melee, it is not here in your melee. So, where do we get the AK Stiletto, and where do we get the new melee weapon? Well, that's easy. You got to go to your clan dojo. So let's see how long it takes to get us into the clan dojo, the Nog Army dojo. You guys haven't seen it in a while. There it is. Okay, so what we're gonna do? Hit over to our Tenno Lab. Boom, we're at our Tenno Lab. And inside of here, you're going to have both things. So you need your AK Stiletto blueprint from within the research. So that's another 15,000 right there. And then you're going to have to craft it again in order to make the weapon, the AK Soma TI. And then here is the Dual Reza researching already by the guys in the clan. It's a 3-day research. They got to it before I even got online. They were already getting this thing running. So awesome job to the clan as always. Let's get back out of here. It's my new gold setup there on my list set. Okay, a couple more things I want to go over here. So we've got a new helmet. We've got the Trevelyan Mirage helmet. Looks kind of like a big bra. We've got the Magrite Limbo helmet. Bowler helmet, which is awesome. We've also got icons. So they've got an icon pack, which includes 2 different looks. And they got it again for Mirage as well, icon pack. So you could sport the bra on the Warframe.com forums if you want to. Okay, so let's take a quick look. I've already been playing around with these a little bit. But let's just take a quick look at these weapons. Okay, so in terms of this weapon, it's going to use the Crossing Snakes stance, just as FYI. I already had a pressure point on here when I started it. As you can see, I've got some leveling going on. We've got some nice critical in here to work with. Okay, you're going to see that there's actually slash and puncture on here. So initially, right off the top of my head, and I know people are going to think I'm weird, but I know it's right here. Right there it is. So you could actually utilize your rendering strike mod this time around if you wanted to actually get both puncture and slash in there. Just ideas. We'll talk about this. We'll go through it once I've had more time to really play around with it. But just some ideas going through your head. There's actually finally the dual mod that'll actually work for it. Now, AK Soma TI, you're not looking at too much here, though there is critical chance and critical multiplier exactly the same as there was on the melee weapon, and some pretty crazy numbers here. Now, what you want to know is if we compare it to the AK Stiletto, which is what is being used to build it, what do we get? Now, we get a higher impact on the AK Stiletto, but otherwise your slash and puncture are higher here, and that's you're going to get slash and puncture out of this weapon. The AK Stiletto's got status, chance, and reload. Okay, but the AK Soma has a magazine capacity of 70, fire rate 12.5, 3 critical multiplier at a 20%. So we're going to have some critical in here. We're going to be able to utilize both slash and puncture with this. So there's going to be some pretty good setups. Now the accuracy is just crap here, but I'm sure we can work around that. Okay, now if you want to comparatively, I had a guy earlier, one of the guys in the clan, say something to me, so let's just take a quick look here. Compared to the twin gremlins, Right off the bat, the Twin Gremlins have it in basic stats, but not by a lot. And it has it in status chances here. But this weapon is going to have critical. So we're going to be focusing on critical along with our puncture and slash a bit as we go through it. And stay tuned for that. We'll definitely get into it. Okay. That will take a look at the new augment mods. Alright, let's quickly look at the 3 new augment mods that are now here. So we've got Vampire Leech for Trinity, Energy Vampire Augment, which excess energy replenishes shields by 85%. Obviously, if we max that up, and while we're here, why don't we do that so we can see what they look like. So max is going to be 150% shield. Finally, something that looks good for Trinity here. Firequake, World on Fire Augment. Enemies have a 50% chance being knocked down. So if we fuse that up, they have a 100% chance of being knocked down. That's not bad at all. So the consistent control there, knocking down the enemies. Little crowd control, if you will. And then finally we have the exclusive Legger Man thing. I can't say that, and I'm sure you all make fun of me for it. But anyway, Sleight of Hand Augment. Pickups are turned into proximity mines that deal 150 damage with a 15% proc chance. And let's see what happens at max. At max, we're looking at pickups turned into proximity mines at 250 damage with a 60% proc chance. Not too bad at all. So we'll go ahead and we'll look at these 3 separately in a different video, but I just wanted to show them to you. Okay, so now we've got the weapons out of the way for now for you to take a look at, and we'll talk about them separately videos as I get through them as always. Okay, they take a little bit of time for me to play through them and decide how I like them. We've got the augment mods that'll come up separately, of course. We know about the new helmets, so let's talk about all the other stuff that's going on. You're going to see the new spy expansion stuff going on in the background a little bit here. I just took it on some low-end maps. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing. But basically, what they've done is they've changed it all around. They've added in 6 new maps. In addition to the points that were there before, they've added 6 new ones. So 3 new Corpus tiles and 3 new Grenier tiles. They've also changed up the variation in what the spy vaults appear in what missions. So you're going to have them randomly generated from existing vaults. And what I've seen so far from running both Grenier and Corpus is I got 2 of the new ones and 1 of the older ones. I don't know how often that'll happen, and also, you know, depending upon the levels and whatnot. Well, I'll follow up with this stuff in future videos. I think we'll do a video where we cover all 6 of the new points as I walk through them slowly but surely. But basically, the Corpus ones, I didn't do bad at all. They were pretty easy for me to figure out in terms of how you get around them. The Grenier ones, I sucked really bad. So yeah, I actually failed 2 of the 3. I failed the 2 new ones. So the Grenier ones, while they have a easier hacking console because there's no time limit to them, they are harder to figure out. In my opinion, at this point, but we'll definitely follow up on those in the future. But so far, they look pretty good. Now we've got some conclave changes going on. So Cephalons in Cephalon capture will now return to their spawn after 10 seconds after being dropped. Okay, made some various localization updates to the conclave announcement messages. They increased the damage on the Bratton weapons in PvP, the Gorgon, the Magnus weapons, and I've been working on my AK Magnus. The Furax and the Graham have all had increased damage done to them. Squads in PvP will only be shuffled for players who joined a match alone. Players who joined a queue together will remain together from match to match, so keep that in mind. If you join with your group, when you go in, you get to stay with your group the whole time. They reduce the radius of knockdown effects from slide attacks in PvP. Players can now view match progress while spectating in PvP by entering the pause menu. They made some audio ambience tweaks for all maps. Increased the energy drain of the Martial Magnetism in PvP. And the AK Somi TI and a Dual Reza are also available in Conclave. Okay, Some more Grenier Manic changes, and we know they just changed it the other day, but here's some more changes. So they adjusted the Manic to a 2% of health, a second regen after a 7-second delay. So again, that's a regen of 2% of health after a 7-second delay, and they slightly lower the damage of the claw attack and the Manic's slash proc chance of his attacks. We've got a various amount of changes and fixes. I'm going to cover a little bit of them here. We'll talk about the changes. Everything, of course, is on the Warframe forums, but they're also going to be on the Everything Warframe page at the nogcommunity.com and on the Nog Community forums as well. If you ever have any comments or questions, please do feel free to leave them below. But let's go through some of these changes. So they increased the amount of decorations that can be placed in the Lisette to 40. Obviously, your bobbleheads have been getting in the way, the Noggles. Added invite squad member label to the squad UI. Some notifications for events shown in the Lisette navigation console will now update their time remaining at 24, 12, 1, 30, 15, 5, and 0. And so, in meaning 24 hours, 12 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and 0 seconds. Lower the difficulty of the spy missions in the Stolen Dream quest itself. The hackable consoles can no longer be used by Limbo while in the Rift. Well, that makes no sense. Everybody else can use their special abilities, but now Limbo can't use his ability. Okay. Anyway, Corpus security cameras now only activate laser grids within 20 meters of their position instead of the whole map. Kubro and Sentinels will no longer set off laser alarms in the spy game mode, which is nice. Life support in survival no longer spawn from crates or lockers before life support drain begins or after life support drain ends. So I guess it's still spawning crates and lockers, but you have to actually start the mission up before it gets moving. Made various adjustments to the /unstuck command parameters. They reduced the number of co-op hack doors in spy missions on the Grenier shipyard tile sets. They reduced the amount of backtracking necessary in spy missions on Grenier asteroid tile sets, which is nice because sometimes you could spend like hours. It meant just going back and forth. Reduce the radius of knockdown effects from slide attacks in PvP. Why? I'm sorry, in PvE. So I don't know why they would reduce the knockdown effect in player versus environment, but okay. Added small lights to consoles and Corpus spy vaults. The adjusted Ember's accelerant effects to show its range more accurately. Emblems can now be used on either shoulder. Oh, nice. Okay. Made small adjustments to Chroma's effigy to be less intrusive. Made small adjustments comb audio and visual effects. Made various audio adjustments for surround sound and stereo. Made audio adjustments to Darvo and Grenier Manix. The updated audio on the Soma and the Soma Prime, which I haven't really listened to yet. They researched a delay for the Samari Sanctuary. Will now show the top 5 contributors. The research displayed. Wow, I wish I could read. Made adjustments to the rare spawn scanning targets to prevent them from spawning in difficult to reach places such as spy vaults, extractions, near turrets, that type of stuff. And the sigils dropped from bosses no longer consume the boss resource drops and will be given in addition to bosses' resources. The trial of heck fixes. They fixed an issue where a player sitting in the revive/forfeit menu during the hijack portion of the second phase would cause the mission to stop progressing. Other than that, there is a whole bunch of fixes. Like I said, they're going to be listed obviously on Warframe, but also on the Nog Community forums and on the Everything Warframe page for the nogcommunity.com website. If you have any questions or comments, please do feel free to leave them below. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next episode. We got lots of stuff to go through. Thanks for watching as always. See you soon.